Do you know the things that you can teach your kids about money and business because you own them? Do you know how much generational wealth you could potentially pass on to your kids so that someone like you does not have to start again from scratch?
Welcome to the MoneyFitMD show. I'm Dr. Latifat, the founder of MoneyFitMD.
We want to change the narrative where women physicians use. My job is to let you know that's gonna be. I have to surround myself with people that are doing crazy.
Hey docs, today I want to talk about the wealth transfer that's going. And don't think this has nothing to do with you, even if you're employed, own your practice, or full-time physician. This episode really has to do with you. And the reason why I'm so passionate about this episode is because so many physicians, so many women physicians are busy taking care of everybody else, which is great. But we're counting ourselves out as a valid option of something that is going on right now culturally. And because my job as your coach in this moment, my job as Dr. Latifat, the money coach for women physician, the financial liberator for women physicians, is I want to make sure that you do not miss out on opportunities that you change the trajectory of not just your finances, but your future, your family, your children, your legacy, your freedom, your diversification of income source. All of that matters because at the end of the day, your power to choose what you do with your time is so important. And I truly, truly believe that no physician should be practicing medicine because they don't have a choice. We need great doctors. I'm not saying that all the doctors should excel and leave, but we need great doctors. And you can only have great doctors when they're where they are because they could be anywhere else, but they choose to stay. So it's my job to make sure that you are equipped, that you are aware, and you know what's going on out there so you don't miss out on everything. Welcome. I'm Dr. Latifat. I'm a GI doctor. I'm the founder of MoneyFitMD, and our entire mission on this platform is to equip women physicians to take charge of their finances, to take charge of their future, to be able to live life and practice medicine on their terms. It is time for freedom, and it's not going to be tomorrow. It's going to be today. So I know that y'all are busy, and since leaders go first, and I practice medicine on my terms now, number of days a week, a month that I choose, it means that I got time to go be snooping on stuff and make sure like y'all don't miss out on the things that's happening outside there. You know, for those that may not have a background about or know the background of how or why I started MoneyFitMD, I've been helping people with their money for, I want to say 7 years or so. But 5 years ago in 2020, early in the pandemic was when I realized that physicians were getting the short end of the stick again. Women physicians, first generation wealth builders, we were going to lose out again. We were afraid of our finances. We're afraid of what was going to happen. Am I going to get fired? Because doctors and nurses were being thrown out the boat like a freaking Titanic, right? And so during the early pandemic, people did not know what was going to happen. Am I going to have a job? Are my patients, how am I going to keep seeing my patients? Are we going to get all this was happening? And of course, hospitals were throwing us under the bus, right? And so I started the MoneyFitMD podcast because what I found was that the conversations that were happening in wealth building communities was so different from what my colleagues and I were talking about in the hospital halls. We were talking about, oh, I'm just going to hunker down and hide until the pandemic is over when it comes to my money. And I'm like, but people out there are buying assets. But people in here are talking about avoiding investment. People in here are talking about cash and hoarding cash. And people out there are like, look for opportunities. And I'm like, there's a mismatch. And one of the things that's peeved me forever is I hate it when people get cheated. And so it was one of those where I'm like, my people are about to get cheated and we need to stay out on the street. So that's how the MoneyFitMD podcast started. And now we're like approaching 300 episodes. Like, it's crazy. But anyways, that's how it started. And I'm seeing something similar happen right now. And again, my my fingers be clenching. My hairs be like tingling, all those stuff. Like, this is something that you cannot afford to stay out of. And you are amazing. I know you are kind. You care about humans. When humans are suffering, it breaks your heart. The thought of even benefiting anything from any kind of human suffering sounds crazy to you.
and very anti everything you believe in. And because of those thoughts, money is less diverse than it could be. Because of those thoughts, neighborhoods are getting gentrified, and people that are your skin color, people that are ethically sound, that are decent landlords like you, are not owning properties because you're like, I don't want to. I feel so bad. That's why, people talk about like bad things stay or things don't change because good people do nothing. The same thing is true with finances. And one of the things that's happening right now is like there's just wealth transfer that is happening. And people are anticipating that it's going to be happening now. It's been happening for a couple of years and it's going to be going on maybe for the next 10 years or so. And what do I mean by wealth transfer? So what is happening is if you look at small to mid-sized companies, there's a change in ownership that's happening right now. The baby boomers are getting older. They're quitting. They're like, I'm tired of running the properties. I'm tired of like running a business. I'm ready to retire. And in fact, I will share a story with you guys. There is this bakery that I love. They have probably the best croissants. And I can now say with audacity that I've had croissants from many parts of the world. I've had from Paris, I've had from Portugal, I've had from like different countries. And this croissant is like up there. And it is not out of the country. It is inside of the country. And I was there to buy, it's a drive from my home. And I make that drive to go like, and I've been doing this for like 7 years. And so I went to this croissant place and it was delicious, of course. And I noticed that the owner was an elderly gentleman, like older, probably like, I don't know, maybe 70s or so. And working in the back, they have someone up front and you can see them there. They love the business. They can tell the pride and joy. And I'm thinking this is an example of someone who probably loves what they do, but there may be parts of ownership that they may not want. But also there are times when people just want to hand things over to the next generation, to someone else that is maybe more younger, more energetic, and wants to carry it on. And that's a very specific example of what could be a wealth transfer. And remember, guys, that these people, I'm not talking about the specific people, but these situations may also be these people own these businesses and their ability to sell this business could be part of their retirement plan to fund their retirement. But if they don't have a buyer, if the buyer is not coming on, if they're not able to sell, now their assets, their investment, their retirement it's stuck in that business. So there's a wealth transfer that's happening right now. And again, this is all kinds of businesses, including real estate. And many times, physicians, we hear about ownership of things and we count ourselves out of it. And I'm like, why not you? Why not you? One of our nurses, her and her husband, they own like multiple bagel shops. And she's like, they're killing it. They're killing it. It takes work. It takes building a team. It takes all of that stuff. But the freedom, the flexibility of being their own boss, like literally, okay, I will give you guys another example. I was talking to two physicians. One is employed with a retirement, account, the golden handcuff, and one owns her practice. And she's like, if I don't invest for retirement, it ain't gonna happen. Two people, one with a retirement that is like definitely gonna happen, and one that's like, if I don't do it, it ain't gonna happen. And this one that's like, if I don't do it, it ain't gonna happen. She's like, you would have to like kill me to take my freedom away from me. And the benefits of being my own boss is like ridiculous. I work because I want to. I work with hours that I choose to. I'm not there because some boss is telling me to be there. I'm there because I choose to be there. So there's benefits to freedom and benefits to ownership that is so important for you to understand. The other thing to keep in mind as well is when it comes to money and wealth, people talk about money as if it's wealth. Money actually is not wealth. Money is just the currency of exchange. Wealth is measured based on ownership. So when you have ownership of things that the value is going to increase over time, like business, real estate, stock market, maybe bonds, like whatever percentage allocation you've decided, those are all like the more ownership you have of those, the more wealth you're going to have, technically. Right? So make sure like, they're not liabilities. Liabilities decreases in value over time. So as long as an asset, the ownership, and that's why I'm such a huge fan of like, just let's just stop talking about budgeting so much. Let's just stop playing with like plastic knives so much. And let's just get to the real deal, which is like ownership, right? If you own that increases your economic power. And when you have like millions of baby boomers and like companies, small to mid-sized companies that are looking to change ownership, we're talking like trillions of dollars. That is the wealth transfer that many physicians are not going to partake in because we're like waiting in the wind, saying like we're busy, we cannot afford, we cannot afford, we don't have time, it could be another job, and all of those limiting beliefs that we're not even addressing at all because you thought that it was not for you. Who says that you cannot be a physician and own businesses? You can own a nail shop. You can. You can. You can own practices. Like, why is private equity the one coming to buy practices? When physicians, we know, we understand, like, how can we be part of the wealth transfer? It is not going to happen if we don't learn. It is not going to happen if we're blaming, like, Stark law or all these other rules and all those things, and we're not being created to be the solution to the problems, right? And so the question is, if if we are not going to be part of the solution, we cannot continue to complain forever and ever and ever. So you need to get in the game. You need to get curious and understand that yes, we've made some progress with numbers of like women-owned businesses, but we still need more. We need more minority-owned businesses, right? So whatever your limiting belief is, you're like, I'm too busy. There's someone somewhere that is waiting for an owner because they're like, I don't want to be the CEO, but I'm a great second position, like a CEO person. And they're literally waiting for you. Like, do you know the things that you can teach your kid about money and business because you own them? Do you know how much generational wealth you could potentially pass on to your kids so that someone like you does not have to start again from scratch? Right? We keep exchanging time for money one-on-one ratio and counting ourselves out as if those that are doing it have 2 heads or 10 heads, right? I know I'm like, Latifat's coming after us. I will come after you because I want you to be wealthy. And I'm calling you out because I know that you have the capacity. You are born for so much more than you're doing. And maybe it's not you, maybe it's your spouse or significant other, right? Maybe it is. I have so many stories of people that are even not physicians that have just decided that we are going to own assets, right? And we as physicians, we're letting our MD, our DO, our MBBS degree be the excuse for why we are not equipped, as if everything is not learnable, right? So you need to like get in the game. So the first step is you just need to be curious. Number two is you need to stop making excuses. What if I don't have time? Is not maybe, well, if you don't have time, that's exactly why you need to like learn how to not just buy a business, but how to create a business that and build a team so that you're not exchanging time for money still in this new business, right? We just need to stop making excuses. You're like, where am I going to find money? Like, there are loans. You could loan yourself. There are people that can loan you, right? You're like, but I don't want to own a business. Well, you could be part owner. You know how like people do money, like syndications of funds for real estate? Number one, real estate is a business you can buy. But there are things like that that exist for businesses too. You can be a co-owner of a franchise. Why not you? Why not you? You know, every time I see physicians, we complain about the same problems. We're expecting a different result. We are like, we blame everybody else and their mama. I say we staying out is not part of the solution. Listen, if you told me, Latifat, 8 years ago that I'll be having this conversation with you and talking about owning businesses, I'll be like, you'll be smoking some crack. But this is just to show you that even I am evidence of the fact that you can learn anything. You can change anything. Your current state does not have to be your future. There are literally groups, there are masterminds, there are programs, there are podcasts that are positioned to help you be part of the wealth exchange too. So what are some resources you can get? Check. What I'm going to do is I'm going to be putting a link here. One of my good friends, Dr. Fawale, she literally has been committing the last couple of years to helping physicians own real estate businesses. And now she's helping physicians partner with more experienced people in the business world to teach physicians how to be part of the wealth exchange through business ownership. I've heard great things about our program. I've heard great things about what she's doing. I'm a huge fan of her work, and I'm going to include her link here so that you can go learn more. Like, you are not. One of the biggest mistakes we can make is think that we're too grown to learn. You're not too grown to learn. As long as you have a pulse, you're not too grown to learn. And I also just love businesses because businesses versus like if you're employed, businesses just remove the ceiling off of what you could earn. You could literally earn however amount because there's no limit when it comes to businesses. You just get to decide, what do I want to earn? How do I create it? You do the work, build a team, and you can earn multiple seven figures in a year. That retirement you're worried about, you could literally catch up, quote unquote, like right now. You can do that. So I hope this has been helpful for you. I hope this is a wake-up call so that you also can be part of the world transfer. Don't be so busy in clinic that you miss out and then you come out and you're like 5 years from now complain about the same thing. Like, make it make sense. Make it make sense. Anyways, I hope this has been helpful. Make sure you click down below to like find some resources that will be helpful for you. And if I can be of service, like many women in our community, I don't teach about owning businesses, but many of our women own their own practice or their own real estate active or passively. And one of the things that I do is, again, I'm a bridge for women physicians. If I can be of service, or if you're like Latifat, this sounds great, but I need to get my personal finance in order. You are not going to get good with business finances unless you're good at your personal finance. I'm just telling you right now. So if you want to learn, I want you to go to moneyfitmd.com/call, CALL, fill out the questionnaire, schedule a call. Let's see how we can serve you inside of the money school. I love you. I appreciate you. I'm on a mission to equip women physicians and disrupt our world when it comes to financial wellness for physicians. Thank you for being part of this journey. And yes, please share this with other humans that you think could benefit from this as well. I love you. I appreciate you. I'll see you in the next episode. Goodbye.